Good morning, Maple Mafia. Rise and shine. It's maple time. Aloha, y'all, and welcome to the 10 at 10 for January 25th of 2024. I'm Matt. That's my brother Tim. Let's talk to you about some plants.
Guys, we love Japanese maples. We know you love Japanese maples too. Make sure you subscribe to us here on the Mr. Maple Show. We put out daily content and we do a podcast as well, so find us on your favorite podcast platform.
We love those 5-star reviews on Google as well, so if you want to do us a solid, make sure to go give us a review on Dave's Garden or Google. Let's get into it with Acer palmatum green strap.
Y'all, green strap is one of the trees that's getting listed today at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on our website. It has this unique leaf that's almost like a Kamigata. It's more vigorous, it's upright, and has amazing fall colors of bright yellows and oranges.
Oh man, this thing is underrated for fall color for sure. I love it in the spring. You get an interesting border leaf going on that green interior. It can have a little bit of purple pink in the early spring, fades to a cream. Really an interesting plant. Green strap, it is really cool. I like that it's multi-stemmed as well. There's a great one of these in the Oregon Gardens that we did a video with, and it kind of gets that multi-stemmed approach, dense, wide, outstanding fall colors.
Now, the original name on green strap was Verde Lace. It sounded a little too much like Verdis, so the guy who's introducing it changed the name to green strap. And this is a vigorous tree. It's an amazing tree to use out in the landscape, and it's fairly heat tolerant as well.
All right, let's go to a conifer that's not too cold, not too hot, but just right. Guys, in the pot, we got some Goldilocks.
Goldilocks is a cool Pinus parviflora, a Japanese white pine with golden variegation to the needles that twist and curve. This is a fun Japanese white pine for the landscape and garden. I love the Japanese white pines. They pair so well with the Japanese maples. It is such that essence of traditional Japanese gardening when you put this out there in the garden.
Oh, I love this plant, guys. Check out the size on these 2 gallons. These are fresh in from Buckholtz Nursery. Excellent sizes on these. Absolutely adore this plant. Goldilocks, excellent tree for the landscape and garden. I got a big one of these on one of our banks here at the nursery. Looks awesome. It's kind of next to a lace leaf, deep maroon that really pairs off of it color-wise. Absolutely love the yellows this brings, though, to the evergreen garden. Goldilocks, it's one of those plants that you can find a spot for a Pinus parviflora, and this one just fits just right.
Next up, we got Acer palmatum, Jim's Memory.
Oh, awesome plant. This one named for Jim Schmitz, Eric's dad. We just shot some videos out at Schmitz Nursery earlier this year. Excellent plant. Named by Bob McCaffrey. This is a broom Bob McCaffrey found. He likes to call them not brooms. He likes to call them blessings. You might recognize some of those plants from that Catholic series. And this one he named in honor of Jim, who was also a good friend of Talon Buckholtz. Now, Talon's been growing this tree for many years, and that's where these came from, as the Buckholtz farm as well. Nice density to this one. I almost liken it to a little bit of something like a more upright Hime Sojo, like a little more vigorous, a little more upright, still that small red leaf, but more in that 6 to 8 foot height range.
Now in the springtime, you get a little brighter red colors, has some good maroon color for the summer and the fall, brightens up in the fall. It is a unique shape. I mean, it is very much in that Hime Sojo kind of, but a little more vigorous and a little more upright. I mean, it is such a fun, unique dwarf. When we purchased Buckholtz Farm and they had so many large specimens of this tree, I fell in love with this tree. I mean, just seeing this tree as a large specimen, it made me say, man, this tree is really cool. And it's a small tree that you can fit in a lot of places in the garden.
It's a tree. Grab this one on Mr. Maple today. All right, guys, next up, we've got Chantelly Lace. This is one of my favorite pink lace leaves. We have a great specimen of this at my uncle's garden. And when people tour, we used to have that one open a lot on open houses. We would sell out of this tree just because of that tree.
We also got featured in an article by Tova Martin that talked about Chantelly Lace. And when that article hit, I mean, we couldn't keep this thing on the shelf. I mean, it is such a beautiful tree. When you see this tree in its full glory, springtime just giving some nice pink colors, and then during the summer with green with those pink orange overtones over top of pink purple. I mean, it is outstanding. It's one of the most crazy midsummer colors on a weeping lace leaf. It's not your red, it's not your green. It gives you that extra dimension out there and has a really nice weeping habit.
I love it. This pink is incredible. It's going to pair well with a lot of your traditional lace leaves. So if you have a waterfall, you know, a crimson queen, think about adding something like a Chantelly lace. It's going to give you something more outside the box than your traditional lace leaf, and a ton of great colors going on. All right, next up on the table for you Welshmen in our Welsh pots, we got some Acer palmatum fairy hair. Now, the reason why we call this Welsh pots, they use them a lot at the Buckholz farm. That's what he describes them as. They're very similar to our 1 gallons, but a little bit shorter in their height. Very similar in the tree size.
This is one of the most thin selections of any of the thread leaves. It has just, it looks almost like little hairs hanging off of this tree. I guess that's where it gets the name of fairy hair. It is a really delicate plant. Give it some protection from the cold. If you can plant it up next to your house, that's awesome. Give it good drainage. But this is one of the most outstanding and very different specimens when it comes to Japanese maples. It's slow growing. It's got that thread leaf, that extreme thread leaf hairs hanging off of every single branch. It is a really cool tree, and it's pretty unique.
Yeah, this one was actually Town Buckholz's first introduction, ranging back over 40 years. We have 2 of the largest specimens there at the Buckholz nursery. Make sure to go check out our highlight video on those. Really cool plant, great fall colors too. It goes from that lime green to kind of a picked up pink red in the fall to getting some dark reds late. Absolutely highly sought after. Bringing it back today, Acer palmatum fairy hair. I smell pancakes. Let's grab some. Guys, we're bringing some high grass of Juniper horizontalis pancake.
You know, I've always seen this tree grown real close to the ground and has a unique sort of pancake habit across the ground. Now, the unique thing about this coming from the Buckholz farm is this is a high graft. And being that this tree is so heavily cascading, it's going to weep straight downward. And this gives Juniper Pancake such a fun, unique way to grow this juniper that I've never seen before.
It's like a Dutch pancake. It doesn't quite look flat. They're awesome. I had some last time I was in Oregon. Really a fun plant. I love junipers for that texture they bring. Pancake is a fun one. You know, really unique overall habit to it. Like Tim said, normally very flat. This one we expect to make a little bit more of a Christmas tree looking shape as it weeps down that standard. I think you're going to get some real unique textures going on this one.
I mean, it's so cool to even think about this. I don't know who came up with this idea for growing pancake on a standard, but this is just going to make such a fun tree out there in the landscape. Juniper Pancake is a slow-growing dwarf, too. And so to being able to put this up and then to see it cascade down, it's going to be a unique way to have this tree out there in the garden.
Check it out on Mr. Maple today at 10 a.m. All right, let's go to another conifer I think is going to be a hot item. There's one here in the back that is super highly anticipated. This one right up there, maybe number 2 on the highly anticipated list for the table today. We got a Japanese black pine for you. It's Pinus thunbergii Ogon.
Guys, Pinus thunbergii are some of the most awesome pines. I like them because they're salt tolerant, they're heat tolerant, they can grow in so many different conditions. They're a little more shade tolerant than many of the other conifers. And so, I mean, we can even grow them in some of our greenhouses with our Japanese maples side by side. This is such an awesome tree. And what Ogon does is during those winter months, the yellow picks up even more intense and gives you a unique, bright golden yellow out there as an evergreen.
Pinus thunbergii are tough as heck. That's why they're popular for bonsai. They're popular in high heat climates. Ogon, no exception to that. You know, this one is going to give you basically a intensely yellow version of almost something like Thunderhead. It's excellent for that. The colors really show out, and I just absolutely love it. You get a good specimen of this. It is unrivaled in its yellows and its durability. Those long needles really make the perfect palette for all that bright yellow color. I've seen this one done in bonsais. I've seen it done in big containers. I've seen excellent specimens of this one in arboretum. Now, however you want to grow this one, it's a great pine to be adding to your landscape, and it's definitely one that the bonsai people love.
Yeah, I know they go in and they actually twist the candles off, and that creates a denser growth down low, which is a fun way to do many of the Pinus thunbergii because you get a low density tree out there in the landscape, or as a bonsai container plant. The thunbergii have these long needles to them, which just add this extra decorative ornamental appeal out there in the garden.
We've had a lot of people waiting on Japanese black pines. One of our goals is to increase production on these. I'm a huge fan. If I had to pick my favorite conifer, it might be Japanese black pines as a category. Absolutely love Pinus thunbergii. It is durable, it's tough, it's showy, and it just does everything I want in an evergreen conifer. All right, let's switch it up and get to some of these 3 gallons here on the table, y'all.
Guys, next up, we've got Acer saccharum. So it's a sugar maple. We got Newton Century.
Now, this is an excellent columnar tree that's going to work zones 3 through 8 for you. A lot of you have been waiting on some of these cool sugars to get back on Mr. Maple. Well, we've been working on them. There's some really fun ones to come. Newton Century, I love it for that columnar vertical interest. It adds to the landscape.
Many people are often looking for monumental. Newton Century is a selection that is stated to be even more narrow and more upright than monumental. It stays really tight, really dense. It's an outstanding Acer saccharum. Those sugar maples, they give you some outstanding fall colors as well, going ranges from bright yellows to bright oranges.
Don't sleep on this one. They're definitely going to sell out. We've had a lot of people waiting on monumental and Newton Century to get back in stock, so a lot of those people are going to be after Newton Century today. It's a tall columnar tree that's going to add a lot of interest to your landscape. Absolutely love the form this one takes. Great fall colors, great spring colors. You know, a lush green throughout the spring and summer. All around, just an outstanding vertical interest going on in the landscape. All right, another 3-gallon. What we got next, Tim?
Guys, next up we've got Ogi Sumaki. So Ogi Sumaki.
So not what Alex Flieger calls me. He always says, OG, what's up? This one is Ogi. This one will also have a purple border like Sumagaki. It's very popular at the Buckholz farm. He's been growing this form for a while. It's distinctly more lime green on the bark, and it's a little bit faster growing than Sumagaki.
I like Ogi Sumagaki because it is a little more sun tolerant than Sumagaki is. Sumagaki, you typically have to give some protection from the hot afternoon sun. You'll often see in Japan, different regions and different areas have versions of Kotonoito or Sumagaki, and you see terms like Kanzai or Ogi in front of a selection. And sometimes that's a person that's introduced a variety very similar to something like Sumagaki. And Ogi Sumagaki, it is pretty awesome. It's got a little bit larger leaf that's more of like an aminum style. There's really pointed edges to that. So that pointed edges really shows off with that purple border. And the yellows to oranges this goes to in the fall are outstanding. It's an outstanding fall color Japanese maple.
Yeah, very upright in this one's growth. It's not columnar, but it does have a lot of branches that tend to aim up, making it a little bit more distinctive than Sumagaki as well. Maybe that has the overall increase in the vigor for it. Absolutely adorable plant in the early spring. That border is something that really shows out, adds a lot to the landscape. Think you're gonna check it out, Ogi Sumagaki and some of our 3 gallons here today.
Guys, we've got an open house coming up April 5th and 6th. On that Friday, it's gonna be from 8 a.m. until 5. And then on the Saturday, we've got it from 8 a.m. till noon. You're going to want to be here. Check out the details on Mr. Maple. Cool plants, cool people, and Japanese maples in spring color.
Wait, there's more. We're going to be doing a Texas meetup for you guys the next week after. Stay tuned to our website for more details. We're going to be stopping at Stephen F. Austin as well as the Dallas Arboretum. Let us know in the comment section if you want to be part of that. Also, we're just looking forward to seeing you guys at Open House. Safe travels to everybody, and we're really excited about this upcoming Texas tour. If it's a hit, we may add more tours to different places in the upcoming future.
Guys, up today, we've got Cedrus Atlantica Sahara Ice.
Now, save this one for last. This might be the first thing to sell out today. Everybody's after this one. I've had a bunch of people ask me when Sahara Ice is coming back in stock, and the answer is today on Mr. Maple at 10 a.m. This is one of our most heavily sought after cedruses, and for good reason. That variegation is peak. It is one of my favorite variegated cedruses. The colors are outstanding. Once you see a specimen in the landscape, you'll be absolutely in love with this conifer.
It's a Cedrus Atlantica, so it has more of that blue-green needle to it, but then when you get some of that frosted variegation across this tree, you see why this is called Sahara Ice. It is an outstanding upright specimen. I fell in love with this tree the very first time I saw it. I was like, what conifer is that? We need to be producing it. It's just outstanding. If you love variegation, if you love conifers, look no further than Sahara Ice.
Don't wait on these. They're going to be super popular today, and I think those will be one of the first plants to sell out. There's a lot of cool things here on the table. Let us know in that comment section what your favorite plant was today on the 10 at 10. Now, this is just 10 of the 20. Make sure to check your email for the full listing today at 10 a.m.
Take care.
God bless.
And have a great day.